my aunt came to live with me in July, and by the time we took her to the doctor, and the doctors looked at all the process of her disease, she had COPD and heart failure, congestive heart failure. Well, by the end of August, we were making choices for hospice or to continue care with a lung disease, the lung doctors and all that stuff. But she was not. She was pretty weak. Doctor came to the house from hospice, and it was wonderful. They came in to hear. I didn't have to take her to another doctor's office. I loved it, not having to take her out of the home to another doctor. But her disease was progressive. It had been going on for a lot of years. She'd been on oxygen for about 4 years, and by the time she came out here, she knew she was coming out here probably to die. I don't know. She wanted me to bring her out, and so I did. When we went to the doctor on August 26th, Dr. Shields had her there for 6 hours, and she did all kinds of tests, and she recommended that I talk to a hospice agency, and also the nurse reviewer came in, and she seen my aunt, and I don't know what to look for. You know, my aunt was my aunt. I didn't want to look for any death and dying stuff, but both of them recommended that she be on hospice. I knew what hospice did. I knew that they came in and they could help us understand. One of the things that really helped me understand was the book they brought with them about hospice, about death and dying, and it's a part of living. And it really helped me get through. Didn't have a lot of time with my husband's dad to really take advantage of the hospice. He died within hours of hospice coming in. And but I knew from that experience, even just the short time, them understand the process, what was going on. But once hospice came in, it was like a relief to me. I didn't know all the details, all the things I needed to do. And they taught me how to do it. Showed me how to give the medications. And I had the bath aide that came in was so good. Terry was just wonderful. She just came in and just took over. And my aunt loved her to death. And the nurses that came, they came every time I called, anytime. 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. They were here. Or either they called me back within 5 minutes, they'd call me back and they'd be here within a half an hour. It was, when I got scared, they would talk me down. It was just a relief to know that I could have someone to talk to at any time. The transition from that to where she knew something was going on, that something was going to happen. She said, "This is different, Sheila. I don't know what's going on." And then that's when she started going the last 4 days of her life. But the morning before, I have to tell you the story, the morning before she passed away on a Wednesday morning, we were having coffee, and I had got ready for work, and I was sitting there talking to her, and she looks up in the corner of the room and she says, "Irmel?" And I said, "Aunt Florence, Mom's not here." She says, "I know she's not. You're not. I said, "No, I'm not, Irmel." And she goes, "I know you're not." And she just looked around, and I think the veil was getting very thin, and she was watching my mom. Mom was here coming to get her or whatever. I don't know how that is, but I felt like that's how it was. That Mom was was looking over for her. And then when we sat down, through the day, she got worse on Thursday. Thursday morning she started the process, and she hadn't talked to us all Wednesday night. And Thursday morning when she started the process of, actually I felt like that was when she was dying. My sisters came in. I have two wonderful sisters. They helped me through this whole thing. They when I needed a day off, they took here. We had the caregivers come in. They had hospice would come in. The pastor, the advocate, the social worker, all of the support that I got was just phenomenal. But when she was physically, her physical body was dying, her spiritual body she held onto us that last day, that last hour of her life. She held our hands, and she had not been gripping anything, and then she started holding our hands tighter. And it was just surreal. It was just like, I didn't even have to have a service for her, because that was so complete for me. It was complete for my sisters too. We didn't have to have that final funeral arrangements or anything. I'm going to have it later, but right now it was like, this is what I was here for, and this is what hospice. I can't say enough about the hospice family. That's what I felt like. It was a family. Everybody talked to me anytime I needed to talk to somebody, anytime I needed to call people to help or to arrange things. They were here, and anything I asked for was brought. So I was just amazed. You don't have that support most of the time. And I think that if anybody understood hospice, if I would have been able to do that for my mom. My mother was in the hospital with tubes all over and down her throat, the whole thing. And if I would have known ahead of time what was going on, I could have done the same thing for her, and I couldn't. I didn't. She died in a hospital room, and I would have loved to have her here. I would have had it here, right here in this apartment. But I didn't know at that time. I didn't know that it was a process that was going to happen. I don't know what else to say except that it was just hospice is a godsend.